what it was that brought you out here.
I received this message from Keith. He'd been sort of looking all over the internet, trying to find a more scientific-based people to come and help him. He's had numerous people come here to investigate, including, Zach from Ghost Adventures. Their conclusion was no evidence. Keith was very frustrated with this because it was, as far as he was concerned, genuine, truthful, and obviously that's very frustrating for him. One of the criticisms with what Keith was reporting, I mean, there's two aspects to this. First of all, the evidence, you're obviously aware of what he's claiming.
Yeah, I've read that.
They are big claims. They are major big claims. And one of the criticisms was everything's happening off camera. Okay, so Keith contacted us. We've spent a long time sort of speaking with Keith over a couple of months. Steve will tell you more about that very, very shortly. But we decided there was enough there to warrant a visit. I mean, obviously we don't jump on a plane and fly 10,000 miles unless we think somebody really does need some help, because we are very specific about how we choose our cases. Okay. So the condition that was actually coming out, and once we'd satisfied ourselves there was something going on, we didn't know at this point, and we was totally open with Keith. It says, Keith, we don't know if it's a hoax. We don't know if there's something going on and you're grossly exaggerating it for attention. We don't know if it's 100% genuine. We can't know that, but we was open with him. We said the condition of us taking the case is that you understand that if we come over, we report it exactly as we find it. We can't confirm previous reports prior to our involvement because we wasn't here. What we can do is report on our findings, which will in turn help substantiate your own claims. So, we came over. We've been here 4 days now, consistently gathering evidence. We're talking like 20-hour days, 21-hour days. I've had like 20 minutes sleep this morning. We've had to do a couple of radio interviews and everything. We're going to carry on with the work tonight because obviously we've got a time scale. We've got to get everything in. Now, there's a lot of people watching this, as you're probably aware. They don't want, some more guys come in to check it out. They want a conclusion. Keith wanted a conclusion. He needs to draw a line under this, rather than, they said there's something interesting. That's not a conclusion. So we put in every spare minute, quite literally, and lots of black coffee into this. The evidence that we've secured is beyond doubt much more than what one would expect to hear, one would expect to see, and certainly more than average. We're at the point now where we're happy to confirm there is genuine activity taking place in Keith's home. What I will do very, very shortly is I shall show you a couple of pieces of the evidence that we've got, but I will warn you, you might find it quite shocking. This is very, very strong evidence. We've also discovered, or we was informed yesterday by the priest that conducted the exorcism, that Keith's home was actually built on Native American burial ground.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, that which is going to do it. Okay, so what we're going to do, that's now presented us with more work to do. So we're going to go down the planning office, or whatever it is you call it. We're going to secure the survey maps of all the land prior to any development.
Yeah.
And then also the maps for the proposed. What we will then do is we will copy one of the maps onto transparent paper, overlay it over the, and then we can actually see exactly what was here before, exactly where Keith's house is situated, and exactly what it's sitting on.
Okay, who told you that?
Sorry?
Who told you that it was on Native American burial ground?
That was Father Roy, wasn't it?
What's that?
Was it Father Roy?
Father Roy did what?
Yeah, it was Father Roy. That's the guy, isn't it? The priest.
What, you talking about the land?
No, the guy that did the exorcism.
Yes.
Yeah, it is Father Roy. I was just checking because I'm tired, Keith. Father Roy advised us of that.
Okay.
So obviously that's now created and generated a little more investigative work. Because at the end it's about substantiation. Not only there's no problem with us confirming that the activity is real and it is taking place, but what it does, it raises questions is why it's happening, why it's happening to Keith, why it's happening in this house, why the houses next door are not reporting the same kind of phenomena. But something that's quite interesting is the Native Americans, when they had burial grounds, people envisage it as like a cemetery, like when we've got all in a row or very close proximity. When they used to do burials, you would have a burial, shall we say, covering an area like this, and then you may not have another one for a couple of 100 yards. Okay, so it's quite possible that this could be affected, whereas the other houses wouldn't. We've also, while we've been here, witnessed some very interesting phenomena ourselves, apart from the captures. Like I said earlier, I'm not that totally coherent because my brain's going to sleep. One of the criticisms many people have made is Keith's evidence that he puts out publicly is it's always off camera. Mm-hmm. We was aware of that before we came out. Mm-hmm. A couple of colleagues mentioned it. Why are you going out? Obviously, it's there's nothing there concrete. We had an example to substantiate that claim yesterday. See these cameras. Uh-huh. Now, and these are set to motion detection. Okay. When motion is detected of any kind, mm-hmm. what it does, it captures it. It takes a snapshot and it emails to Keith within 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yesterday, Keith said motion's been detected in the lounge. Now, what's important is he was with us all the time up to, so prior, during, and after that. Okay, all that time, and prior to that also we know, because I've been outside for a cigarette, so we know the position of these cameras. Keith received an email saying motion been detected. We came in here and looked. This camera was that way around, and the image, it was just black. There was nothing there. There was no capture.
Huh. So it wasn't like the empty room. It was just black.
No, that was it. There was no image. But Keith was with us all that time.
So there was no one else in the house?
There was nobody else. We was there when he received that email. Now this email comes within the 2 minutes of anything activating. Keith was with us all the time prior to that for several minutes. So there's no way that could have anything to do with Keith's involvement. We was there, we witnessed that. We have to confirm that actually took place. Can you get closer? I'd like to take a shot of her eyes because they're getting really, really big at this stage. Come close. She doesn't mind. She's fine.
Oh my gosh.
And I've done a little bit of research since we heard those voices. And it come to find out, the Irish settled in Washington State in the mid to late 1800s. They prospered very well here in Western Washington. They were bankers and farmers and newspaper publishers, and they were middle class to the very wealthy here. And they didn't have to face this discrimination that they did in their country. They had freedom of religion here, and we still have a very large population of Irish descendants, from people from Irish descendants here.
Well, you could hear that, you said?
Yes, I could hear it. It was picking up because you had the microphone on. It stood back. It was "We Are Spirits," and then I couldn't understand. We were trying to figure out the last one. It was like 2 or.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't the last part. The first part was.
The first part was very, very clear.
First,
We Are Spirits. Because obviously you was filming as well. You got the headphones on.
Yeah.
So that.
And then I had the Nat mic. Plus, it helped out a lot that you had the other microphone on.
Yeah.
Too. So it could be clear that way too. So.
So I was just wondering, it wasn't. There was no suggestions. You actually heard that. That We Are Spirits. Okay.
Yeah, because we were like, okay,
So
well, this is where we heard. That's what you guys heard.
And we'll be getting lots more. Very quickly, just to round off, what do you think about this? What's going on? What's your thoughts?
It is, it's something. I mean, whenever you guys find, it's really interesting. You always hear about it, and to actually get to go, this isn't ghost hunting. This is actually there is something here,
Yeah.
and it's serious, and you guys are trying to get to the bottom of it.
And we will do.
Yeah.
We're here to find answers for Keith. That's what we'll do. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
A bit closer. No, it's alright. It's not inside the. It's not inside the speaker.
Yeah.
Okay. You like put your head in a bit closer. Hey, put your head in a bit closer. What do you think of that?
Oh my gosh, I've never heard anything like that before.
We'll find a result either way, because we told Keith right from the beginning, you know, that if there was anything which was a little bit hokey or hoax, then we put that information out, we discredit him, you know. So it certainly was not it's certainly not advantageous for him to have us come halfway across the world to do this, you know.
If he was.
Sure, he had everything to lose.
Everything.
We had people come over here, you know, Native Americans or shamans, and they were saying that this at one time was, you know, it was tribal land, and you have to ask him. He's saying that they found out some interesting stuff about this area. So
When they did the research, there's
Yeah,
a
he did
lot
the
about the
research.
native.
yeah, and who knows? I mean, that could be part of it.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
When we first was contacted by Keith at our department, we went through some vigorous talks with him to ascertain what had actually happened. And there was a number of things that sparked our interest, so we decided to come along, try and find out what's actually happening here, and hopefully help out Keith a little bit. And it has been, I mean, we were here for 6 days. We've only been here one day, which is pre-investigation at this time. I haven't actually properly started yet. But today we've already had some strange occurrences take place. So it's certainly going to be very interesting.
Well, if you don't mind, can you kind of say what those strange occurrences are?
Sure, yeah. I mean, a little earlier we had a camera which moved, which was a motion detection camera, so it time stamped when it moved. And there was only us three here, Keith, myself and Don, and we were all actually in here, so we were all accountable at the time the camera was moved. So that was certainly interesting. And we've got some amazing audible phenomena. It would sound, it's speech, and you can hear them say something. I don't like to label spirits, that's just a name as far as I'm concerned. Definitely some form of intelligent force, which communicated by our recording devices. So we believe there's definitely something going on here.
Huh. And what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, first thing is to try and identify the phenomena, and why it's doing what it's doing. Can it be suppressed? Is there certain things that would make this a better environment for Keith? And try and find out why the occurrences are happening. Usually, there's usually reasons why disturbances take place, be it the house, be it the location where the house is built, be it the individuals in that home. And we'll try and get to the bottom of that. But we've got to run a lot of tests, and with all the equipment that we've got, to ascertain exactly what are we dealing with and how best to approach, trying to help Keith.
Tilt that way, if that's all right with you. Does that sound good? And this can either be... I'm sorry, tilt the other way. I'm going to be over here where this gentleman is. And you can go ahead and have a seat. Michelle, I'm thinking maybe you over here and showing all this
I can get that in.
gadgetry stuff. Okay, great.
We don't just obtain evidence and say, hey, look what we've got. We look at the mechanics behind it. We have to analyse everything, look for alternative explanations if there's any available at the time. We really do spend a lot of time. We spent considerable time this morning. You heard about the burning Bible. We've been burning the Bible in different ways to see which way the flames burn, what kind of effect it has. So we do spend an awful lot of time analysing everything. And we made this clear to Keith when we came over. We'd heard some very, very big claims. Now, some people think, could this be a hoax? Other people say, we think to be independent witnesses that have actually witnessed levitating objects and objects being projected, etc. So it is a very, very interesting case. Obviously, before we came over, as my colleagues always said, we don't just jump on an aeroplane and fly 9,000-10,000 miles because somebody says, can you come and see us if we've got a ghost? We spent considerable time interviewing Keith, and we thought, there's something to this. Obviously we didn't know what we'd find until we got here, but in the time we've been here already, there's been quite a lot. The first investigation will actually be taking place tonight, so I'm looking forward to it.
What does that mean? What's happening tonight?
Well, we will concentrate on different areas of the building, different rooms, the different activities associated to each particular room, see if there's any area that's more active than others, different times of the day. Then we'll just take what we do, analyse it, and bring you the results.
Objects thrown, objects moved.
Well, this is not unusual. It is rare, to be perfectly frank, but it's not unusual. I mean, we've covered many cases where we've had this kind of phenomenon taking place, but it is not a common thing. I was quite intrigued when I was talking to Keith about the independent witnesses that said, we saw this levitate, we've seen this object fly across the room. These are independent witnesses to Keith. There's no reason for them to make anything up, as far as I'm aware. So,
Yeah, you don't think he's trying to get attention or anything like that?
Do you know what? There is people out there that will exaggerate claims, hoax things just to get attention, In the time we've been here already, Keith has come across very, very sincere, totally transparent and open and honest about everything. And what we've encountered already since we've been here leans towards Keith telling us the truth. We can't say for definite, the Bible burst into flames, or this did this and this did that, because we wasn't here at the time. What we can report on is what we uncover in the time that we're here.
And do you hope to see some more activity?
I'm sure we'll see quite a lot of activity by the time we're finished.
Over a year ago, a paranormal team came to this house and told me and my girlfriend that they could not find any evidence, and they left with zero evidence. Since that time, one thing that forever stood in my mind by living in this house is this house is overwhelmed with evidence. By evidence, I mean activity. The last 3 days, I have watched Don Phillips and Steve Mera come into this house and each day compile, gather, analyze, and show me the evidence. The evidence that they have found and discovered has overwhelmed them as well as overwhelmed me, and I live here, and some of the things that they've seen I have been experiencing for the last 3.5 years. So this has been a new and I guess very new experience, in the sense that finally there are now substantiated evidence, proof to the claims that I have been saying of seeing things with my own eyes and experiencing. And what Don and Steve have come in is really take the bull by the horn and provide their 60 plus years of experience in dealing with the paranormal and dealing with science to uncover some interesting truths, not only about the house, about the land, about the people that occupied the land prior to this house being built. So for that, I am still in awe, and this is only day 3 out of day 5. So I'm pretty sure tomorrow I'm going to be even more in awe just by the compelling evidence that they're able to pull from this house. And right now I can easily say 100% the house is providing them evidence almost willingly.
No, I have that exact recorder. I use all my interviews on that one, and there's never any ambient noise. It's just voices. It captures them crystal clear.
Nothing in between.
No.